Hello, welcome back. I mean, welcome for the first time ever today, because this is definitely not the same day that I recorded my October flip through. Let's get into it. Also, hi, my name is Amy. I'm a ceramic artist here in Atlanta. I have been working in a Hobonichi cousin. This was my second year in a Hobonichi cousin, and I just love the crap out of this thing. There's no other way to say it. Let's look at it together. Period tracker on the year at a glance page, or years at a glance. You think at this point I would know the name of it. You tired of hearing me say that? Probably. I track my period here. I fell off in October because it's just, say it with me, busy. I know you're also tired of hearing that. Workout tracker is for the next spread, the next year at a glance situation. I use as my workout tracker, and this system just really works for me. I have not changed it yet for 2025, meaning I have not filled it in yet for 2025 because I feel like I need to update it in some way, but can't quite figure out what that way is. I highlight the class that I go to. I keep the colors the same so that way I can quickly reference how many times a week I went. And I like to add in a reason why maybe there are some bigger gaps in attendance. So obviously with November, we had Thanksgiving. My gym also does a really nice thing in November, December. They give you unlimited classes so that, you know, because things get busy, and they're like, come when you can. And they're also so good about being like, take care of yourself, get sleep, eat properly, but come here if you've got it in you. And I just love that. And I did. In my notes, I say, last year it felt so much easier to fit the gym in with work. This year, not so much. That's so true. I mean, that being said, I have taken on, in 2024, I took on so much more than I have in previous years. And I was just really feeling the effects of that in November. But I got my 12, and I didn't realize this until, you know, halfway into December, in order to get committed club, which I haven't talked about in a while, aka 1 month, which is when you attend 12 classes a month and you get a t-shirt at the end of the year party. I did get that, which is great. I think I already told y'all in a couple of videos ago, but you don't have to go all of December, of course, because they order the t-shirt in November and give it to you in December. So no Tombows. I also just deeply abandoned that. And then, if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's the December month I used for a Tombow tracker that I never once looked at again. And now, as a person that's on the Tombow creator crew for 2025, I have every single dual brush pen. So there's just not enough space in this book, you know what I mean, to swatch it all. So I'm just not doing that. Anyway, November, I filled this in one sitting because I had not touched it in all of November. And I think that shows me that I don't want to do this anymore. I love how people like Natasha in Your Phone does a picture a day. I don't know. I feel like for me, and the way that I use my Hobonichi and like track my life and exist in my world, I would just be printing off some really boring pictures after a while. You know, like, you probably don't need to see my like plate of tacos, or at least I don't need to see it in years to come. So I'm thinking of a different, like, more funner approach to the monthlies for 2025, and I'll show you when we obviously get into it. I also like to stick extra stickers, as you saw in the last video, and sometimes I'll have extra pictures that I printed out that didn't make it into the daily pages, and I'll stick them in here. So that's all you're seeing there. And again, I abandoned the, wait a second. I found my prescription the other day, and when I was cleaning out all my supplies, and I was like, I've been looking for this, and I thought that was just the receipt. I thought it was the prescription glued in here. Anyway, on to the daily pages. You don't need to hear about my prescription. I have astigmatism in my right eye. Okay, you don't need to hear about it. Moving on to my daily pages, we are in November. And where we left off, October was very stressful. And again, like, that's why I really love documenting my life in this way, because it's the middle of January right now. I couldn't tell you a single thing about October if you were like I'll give you $1 million right now to tell me 3 things that happened, I couldn't tell you, because stress is eating my body alive, and my brain is taken up by like now and the future, and I'm just not thinking about the past that much, but I do want to remember it. So I really like that I have this record that I can be like, yeah, you know, year over year I can check back and see what it felt like. Okay, turning the page to November. This is what my kiln screen looks like. I'm a ceramic artist. That's where that's my full-time job. And I have the Kiln Master like touch screen. If you don't work with kilns, you're not impressed by that, but if you do, maybe you are. And it's essentially like a little iPad that tells you all of these fancy things, and it's just so nice because, you know, in years past, you used to have to babysit a kiln. They're called kiln sitters. You'd have to sit with them for a certain amount of time, or then they just moved over to like a different type of electric kiln, but you didn't have access to things, as much information with those kilns as you do with this. So my kiln started throwing an error message a few days ago, and it threw that error message a few times, and it was really stressful. And I borrow a quote from Justin Timberlake here: "This is going to ruin the world tour," aka Christmas season. What happened is that my kiln hit a certain temperature, 1,789 degrees Fahrenheit, and then it held there like something. It couldn't quite get to the next ramp, and it held that way for 12 hours, until probably more than that actually, until I could get back into the studio. It was just tough. and it's one of those things, like when this happens, you see the error 1 diagnosis, so you at least know that you can call Scut, the manufacturer. Why am I telling you all this? You don't care. I'm already in it. Here we go. You can call them and say this is what's happening. They can also run the diagnostics based off of your touchscreen Kiln Master, which is amazing. But anyway, it turns out that my relays were out. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to shake you. Anyway, when it is at a really high temperature, almost 2,000 degrees, I can't just open the lid and make sure everything's okay, because obviously like the thermal shock will cause chaos. So I have to unplug the kiln and then let it come down naturally before I can check to see if the project inside is okay. I didn't know if they were going to be like fully melted because the temperature had held for so long, if the glaze had run off of it. Like, it was really stressful, and I couldn't check for like a whole other day. The next day, it was my best friend Paige's birthday, her 35th birthday, and we went up to Dahlonega and went to a couple wineries and had dinner, and it was fun. I talk a little bit underneath about it, so I've got it closed, but I printed out some pictures, and yeah, it was fun. So the next day, I was able to get the kiln open because it had come down naturally, as we were talking about. And I was able to pull my project out. I was really nervous about it because it held at that really high temperature for quite some time. And if you look really closely at the project, because it was a vertical piece, the glaze has started to like slide down because, it was like molten for so long. Don't quote me on the word molten. But anyway, it's a little drippy, but it was good enough, because I'm just sending photos of it out. I'm not sending the physical product out. It was good enough for me to send out, so thank God I didn't have to redo it. And it was quite cute, so I'm really happy with that. The next day, I'm deep in Christmas mode at this point, and have been for quite some time, but I was working on Christmas ornaments, and I just had piles of ornaments all over my desk. And the pile that delighted me the most were these nutcrackers, so I recreated it. Oh, the next day was election day. What is there to say? It did not go the way that I wanted it to go, is I guess what I'll say. It didn't end well, did it? And I am surprised. Well, maybe I shouldn't get into it. I shouldn't get into it. But anyway, so this was my sentiment for the day. This effing sucks, but I did have my I voted sticker, and I have here open for a bright spot on a I can curse in these, but on a bad day is what I'll say. And inside I have a picture of I didn't ink this in. Anyway, I have a picture of my nephew Cohen. We were riding around on the golf cart and he just had his little hand on my leg, and it was enough to really make me be like, I will survive. It really turned the day around. But this is gonna bother me, so let me fill it in really fast. Girl. There we go. I use my Tombow hard tip Food No Suki pens. These are always going to be my favorite for like writing, outlining, you know, as long as I'm not writing like too much stuff. That's not that pen. That's something a little bit smaller. But I love it. It's my favorite. I do like to put little like stickers of some sort on the bottoms of the pens to help me remember like if they're good or not. The pink is a little bit older than the yellow, and for a long time I thought the yellow was bad, which is why there's an X on it. But I recently grabbed it again and it's been totally fine, and it's actually at a really good point in its penniness, if you will. And I'm really liking it. So anyway, that's the one that I'm going to pull. I also, thanks to Julie Plans, I put this tip in a little bit differently than I normally do. I'm a big fan of using like tape. I used it here, but I've closed it down. So let me see if I can find another one. I'm a big fan of using tape. That's not a good example. And it does, you know, add a little bit of extra bulk that has obviously never bothered me. But I saw her on her Instagram stories, I want to say. Yeah, here's a fine example. Using like a glue pen, like the Tombow glue pen. And she was like, yeah, it's really nice. You just kind of put it in the seams and then you stick it in, you close the book for a few minutes and it is done. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll try that. This is what I normally like to do, which is tape down one side, stick it in, basically taping the piece to the piece of paper. You're not really like putting it in the binding, right? You're taping it to the page in front of it, and then coming back around and kind of taping it either again to the page in front of it or the page behind it. I don't think I explained that well, but that's how I like to do it. It makes for a really like easy to turn page. But I wanted to try her style, and I used the Tombow mono glue, the liquid glue. But yeah, it did a good job, but it glued in a little bit more of the page than I'm used to on the second side. And it's fine for this. It was a nice learning experiment. Cohen's little hand. Because this book is trying to fight with me right now because of the way I've got it folded and the way that this is like taped in or glued in already. I typically write very turned to an angle and I can get my whole hand in there. Obviously I can't really do that right now. So you'll notice I'm like pulling back on my pen a lot. That helps me move a little bit more is basically it. On my leg, heart. I just have a little bit more control than if I was choked down here on my pen trying to, trying to really write this in how I normally do. I hope that made any sense. Anyway, got that filled in. The next day, obviously we did not get the news on the election, day of election. I went to bed about 9 o'clock and watched a couple movies, and then I just like forced myself to stop, you know, refreshing the news. So the next day, obviously a pretty dark day for some of us, and I was just feeling really like, just feeling weird. I wanted to process my emotions on the internet, which I felt stupid for. I felt like a fear and like a disgust, and I just felt very let down by so many people who claim that they love me, and people that are like me, and people that are different than me, but like coming from a place of extreme privilege. If I felt like that, imagine how people, you know, deep in the margins felt. And I don't know. It was just tough. This was something I posted on Instagram, and then I kind of ghosted for a couple days, and didn't talk to family for a while, is what I'll say. The next day, I don't know that I can fully get into this. So I'm gonna do a little dance around, and I'll tell you that I saw, you know, a graphic on the internet as we're all in this echo chamber of like resharing the same things and being mad. It's the internet is a strange place to be when something is happening, is kind of all I'll say. But anyway, I saw something that said, if your beliefs deny my humanity, question my identity, or disregard my rights, my reaction is not the problem. And that is, I could not have said it, thought it, dreamed it up better than that. I really needed to see that in a time where I had a really frustrating work meeting. So that's all I will say. The next day was Hobonichi Saturday, which was so much fun and like really what I needed. And the community and the chat was beautiful. If you don't know what Hobonichi Saturday is, well, it's technically two different things. Every Saturday I consider a Hobonichi Saturday when I get to sit down and sit on the floor in my living room and watch TV and back journal in my Hobonichi because I don't work in it on a daily basis. Back in October, I dreamed up an idea of like, how can we get everybody together and we do a Hobonichi together? And we did it. We all met up on Zoom and I talked through some like ways I journal, and then I just kind of journaled a few pages together. And it was really, really fun. And I honestly did it as a trial run to see if I wanted to start up my Patreon again. It was something that I had a few years ago, and I hadn't quite figured out what kind of person on the internet I wanted to be. And I was struggling with like paywalled content, in a meaning like I was struggling to feel like I was producing enough, and Patreon as a app is not the most intuitive, like, or it's not as easy to use as like Instagram, say, is for me. So I don't know, but now that I'm doing YouTube more and thinking about these like journaling sessions, or maybe like a monthly journaling session, I'm considering starting that with a Patreon again for like exclusive videos and, you know, virtual meetups and things like that. So I don't know if that's something that you're interested in, let me know. The next day was a manicure day. I gotta say, the last few manicures of 2025 were such bangers. I was so excited with them. I wish I had made a little note. I know we did like different colors, but I want to say I had little stars drawn on and they were silver, I guess. But yeah, I don't have a great like silver pen in my toolkit, so that's a little hard to draw, but I loved that manicure, my lord. My good friend Megan Splon, who is an amazing food editor, mother, friend, she's so creative. She also has a really good Substack that I urge you to join. I'll put it down below. We send a lot of voice messages to each other, and in, you know, around this time is really hard for me, and I realized in 2023 during the busy season that like the support that I need from friends and family helping to feed me. I won't get into the like, when you're not married and when you don't have children and you are not really in a position to buy a home and you just run a business, you don't necessarily get the like milestone accolades that you would if you were getting married, buying a house, having a kid. And so I can't, you know, I can't just send out my registry for just like existing and being like, hey, can you guys buy me this because I've done a good job. So something that I just realized this kind of support that I need during the busy months is someone to make a grocery list for me and a meal plan. Don't even buy me the food. I mean, you can if you want. I need that taken off my plate. And she so generously for a few weeks gave me a meal plan with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and even like dessert mixed in there. And it was just so nice to do that Sunday meal prep and not have to figure out the recipe, make the grocery list, go grocery shopping. Like, it was just truly amazing. And so it really saved me. And then the next day, it's another situation where I'm working on a lot of ornaments, and I had a lot of snowman butts on my desk, which was a really funny sight. This is a product that I've been doing for the past couple years. One side is just a cutie little regular snowman, and then you flip him over and you can see that he has a butt. And I have these name stamps that I use to sign my pieces, so that I'm not just writing my name on the bottom of every piece, because it is actually quite time consuming. And one of them is just a little AY, and we put it on his like right butt cheek, and it looks like a little tattoo, and it's just so stupid and so fun, and they are a big seller for me. The next day, again, I'm just like deep in painting mode for Christmas. I'm painting so many cute things and feeling like really proud of the work that I put out this Christmas season, or this Yoliday season, as I have coined it. I made a joke with my friend Claire recently where I wanna take on this big project, and I'm like, I gotta y'allify it in some way, so it's gonna have a stupid name with like y'all in it. I just also today on my schedule put Valentine's Day planning, so that I want to put out some like Valentines to friends and stuff. So obviously they're going to be called Y'allentines. Oh, and then the next day was my Kiln's 5th birthday. I don't know. I will not get sappy about it, mainly because we only have 19% left on my camera battery, but I just feel really grateful every day that this is my job, and that I'm very, very lucky, very blessed, and it's not lost on me that I get to seriously say I'm a full-time artist. This is lifted from an Instagram story that I posted, and it says, about twice a year, I do the incredibly selfless thing of making myself a pot of coffee so Elaine can sleep a little bit longer. She makes it every morning despite having her own iced coffee situation, and my God, is it the worst pot of coffee in the world. But that's love, right? Reminder, Elaine does this probably 300 times a year, and I contribute too. LOL. And this was just my morning. I had, some toast, and actually I didn't. I had what Megan meal planned me, which was egg bites, homemade egg bites. They're not that hard to make. And I had this advanced reader copy of Roland Rogers' Isn't Dead Yet, which is by Samantha. Oh, her name is escaping me. But she wrote Patricia Wants to Cuddle, and I was really stoked to get that arc. And I really loved it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was moving. I thought it raised a lot of interesting questions about like being closeted and being out, and what you gain and lose. So really enjoy it. I don't remember when it comes out, so we'll talk about it more when it comes out. The next day we got, oh my God, have we not had noodles since November? That needs to be changed. We ordered my favorite takeout, which is this place called Noodle, and I love their bags. You have seen this a couple times, no doubt, but their bags just have this like weirdy little smiley face on them, and I just love them so much. And this is exactly how it came to me. I just cut it off and stuck it down and wrote a little bit about the day after, or on the back of the receipt. And yeah, I had a slow morning. I went to the studio to paint for Yolidays. I feel like I'm moving too slowly. Yep. And I came home to Elaine putting up Christmas and ordered Noodle that we ate while watching High Potential. Such a good show, and a really good night. That was a Saturday night. This, I meant to add in more color on her hands. Oh, sorry. I don't have time for this. More so meaning I don't have the battery for this, but that's okay. I'm gonna reach for my Tombows. I have the Skin Tone collection, which could definitely do better. It's odd color-wise. And we just need to like add some like life in her hand so she looks a little less like, what's going on here, girlfriend? That would go there. Okay. That makes me feel a lot better. I mean, her book could use some life in it as well, but that's fine. Okay. Just spilled so many markers everywhere. Okay, the next day we went to trivia. That's something that you saw in the last video. We've been doing more trivia and we're having a lot of fun. And I won't say because it was a really light day of how many groups were playing, but we won 3rd place. And in classic us form, we just did not use the coupon in time. So that sucks. But hey, it makes for a great addition to my journal. The next day I was just super duper struggling and I sent Katie, my studio assistant, probably the most like dramatic text of all time. Just talking about how much everything sucks and how hard everything is. And she works with me on Tuesdays and Thursdays, or she did. She got a new job. Boo. But she brought me some sunflowers in and it was really sweet. So, yeah, I enjoyed drawing those. The next day I came home to a letter or a postcard in the mail from my friend Kendra. Hello, Kendra. I said, this is very me. I said, Kendra sent me a very nice postcard that really made my day. Things have been so hard, but this nice message makes it almost worth it. Kidding. I've just been in a bad mood for weeks. But she said some nice things. Hope you have a wonderful holiday season with family, good food, and great books. Your friend Kendra. Ugh, what a sweetie. And sometimes people send me my address is on all the orders, and my address is also on the thing that's coming up. So hold on. So sometimes people send me things because my return address is for everyone to see, and I just think that's so nice. The next day, oh, and Tiffany's address. Good Jesus. These are sticky notes. Well, I got you. These are sticky notes from Dahlia Designs on, that's her website, I want to say. She's also on Instagram under that. She makes the cutest stuff, a lot of bookish stuff, and a lot of, and I bought these because I think it's fun and I like to use it in my journal. And also when I loan a book out, I like to just kind of quickly fill it out and put it in the front and then put one for my friend, because that way I get to, you know, it's like a really informal book club. Anyway, my friend Tiffany sends the best mail on the planet. Her envelopes, you've seen them so many times. In last year's Hobonichi and in this year's Hobonichi. That girl's got a sticker collection that I can't even wrap my mind around, but I keep everything she sends me and I put a lot of it in here. And this was their Christmas card. They went to the Bass Pro Shops to see Santa there. And she's hot, you guys. She's hot. And she says to Santa, do you mind if I sit in your lap? And he said something untoward, but also hilarious. And I love her so much. So anyway, obviously that was gonna make it in. And the next day, it's November 22nd. I have, at this point, a sale in about 8 days. Is that true? No, 5 days. 5 days, and I'm like, I'm just on autopilot. I'm pushing through. I am struggling, but I'm getting there. And I say out loud to myself, you're doing a great job, you stupid. Sometimes y'all have kids watching these, so I don't want to teach them a new word today. But anyway, it works if you need like a pep talk. Sometimes you just need to call yourself a stupid. Oh, the next day. Oh my God. Yeah, it was the next day. I thought it was 5 days. No, the next day I had my first holiday sale. 80% of stuff. I made about 200 things. 80% of those things sold out in less than 10 minutes. And the rest of it was gone in under half an hour, I want to say. I've kind of lose track after that. And it was a whirlwind, and it was emotional, and it was crazy. And it's like the second the sale goes up and people start buying things, my body just like shuts down. And it's like, okay, time to go to bed, eat something and go to bed. And that's certainly what I did. One of the best sellers was a big tree that I painted in this like beautiful pink, and yeah, I only have 10% battery, so we got to get out of here. This pink and purple and white glaze was gorgeous, and I called it the Pink Pony Club. I love naming things like this for Christmas, and I named it the Pink Pony Club, and it sold out really fast. I think it was the first tree to go, and I'm just really proud of all of that work. The next day is when the memes were like really hitting. I had to explain this meme to Elaine this day because she's not on the internet in the way that we are on the internet, which is very interesting. I do think there is like internet girlfriend, article girlfriend / boyfriend, and Elaine is certainly article girlfriend. So she was definitely missing all of these like funny memes. But of course I had to memorialize the holding space for the lyrics of Defying Gravity. And that poor woman saying, I've seen it on a couple posts. It's just so funny. And I love this page. I gotta say, the angle of how Cynthia Erivo and her long nails are holding that little couch cushion, incredibly difficult to draw. But I don't care. I had so much fun doing this. And I love layering Tombows, especially on this Tomoe River paper. It is just like, I don't know. It probably would bother some people how it looks, but I'm obsessed with it, and I'm just really pleased with this page. The next day, y'all, my God, the next day I have posted one of those, like, you know, those add yours templates that go around Instagram, and I don't do them often, because the ones that are like, no skip it or no cheating, post the last picture of food, I'm like, I could care less. But if you want to see a picture of me as a kid, I'll do it in a heartbeat, and I always love an excuse for that. So this was a template that said a picture of you as a kid that gives off the same vibe as you now. So I post this crazy glamour shot that my parents, like, or my mom, I guess I don't even know that my dad was like aware of what was happening. I go to get these glamour shots, and the whole family did it. They had me out here, and it's so I was like 3, 4, clip-on earrings, this crazy hat, a halter top dress. And anyway, it's so crazy, but I posted it, right? This person, first message they've ever sent me, ever. They say, you look like Taylor Swift's mom. At first I was like, but now I'm like, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen. I do feel bad. I don't even think I responded to it. I was just like, I was too stunned to speak, I guess, as they say. The next day, me and Elaine, a ship captain, we shipped until 2:45 in the morning. There was a lot of that. Towards the end, I was staying at the studio until like minimum 2 a.m. every night. And it was just really tough, but shipped all damn night. There it is. The next day I went home for Thanksgiving, and I opened my book, I set out pens, and I said, y'all draw in here, to my 3 nephews and my oldest nephew's girlfriend. I said, y'all better draw in here. Do you guys want to draw in here? And they were like, yeah. I love it. I love it. And I just wrote kind of around what I'm thankful for. The next day, I just, like, a little recap of being home. I say I had a great time home for Thanksgiving, which was so unexpected after the election news. I spent most of it with Jace watching movies or driving around Cohen and me, or teaching me how to shoot his bow. And it was just really fun. And then my brother and his wife, like, playing Hues and Cues with us and like getting into it. I don't know, it was like really fun. We normally, Elaine and I, she meets me at my hometown for Thanksgiving. I'm very grateful that she does it and spends time with my family. And we always get our tree when we're down there because it's so much cheaper than here in Atlanta. And we load it in the back of the car, and then we, head up here, and we go to get the tree, and the lady takes the tag off of the tree, and I'm seeing her doing it. And I say, can I have that? And she's like, I need it. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, sorry, it's fine. I was like, I'm like, yeah, sorry, I journal, and I was gonna put it in there, but like, totally fine, don't worry about it. She's like, no, I mean, I guess I'll just write another one. And I was like, no, really, it's fine. We have this weird standoff, this like polite standoff, and finally she hands it over, and I'm like, okay, thanks. But I got it, and that's all that matters. And we came home, and Elaine, God bless her, a lot of the like housework around the holidays and even the jolly work of like setting up the tree and decorating for Christmas falls on her to do alone. And she got the tree out and put it in the holder, and it was covered in this like netting to keep everything in there during transport. And I came home from work really late this night, and she said, oh, I saved this for you for your journal. And I was like, because she does it every now and again. It's just so sweet when she does it. And I recorded her. I turned the camera on because I just had it in my hand back journaling. And I said, what'd you just say? And she repeats it again. And I just uploaded to Instagram because everyone said she should see just how perfect she is. And that reel is like currently still going viral. It has almost 1 million views. And everyone being like, dang, must be nice. And I'm like, it is. But putting that netting in this book was hard, and I saved it for over a month to like try to do something with. And is it the most successful? No, but I know what's happening here, and that's kind of all that matters to me. Oh my God, that was the last day. Fun, and we have 5% left, so that worked out. But yeah, so that's it. Sorry, did I end that really weird? I guess so. Yay, that's it. We did it. Woo, that's November. I cannot believe it. You know, I would change shirts and then immediately start filming December, so that way you don't know that I'm filming it all on the same day, but you're gonna know, right? Thank you for watching. Thank you for loving this thing. And thank you for being patient while I get these things filmed and edited and uploaded to the internet. All right, we will see you in the next one. Bye.